Okay, books, dice, figures, lack of dignity. Gotta go to. Oh, you're early. Well, since you're here, why don't you help me check off my list and see if I missed anything getting ready for the game tonight? And I'll teach you how I get ready for a night at the table. And then we'll do my intro. Now, your pregame prep can vary drastically depending if you took my advice and are running a pre-constructed module or if you're writing your own campaign from the ground up in a world of your own making. If you're doing the latter, bravo, and I understand your pain. Now, if you have a module, you have the adventure all laid out before you. Monsters, usually the loot, the hooks, the NPCs, lore, everything's right there. At least if it's a good one. All you have to do is memorize it. The free range version, you have to come up with all of that on your own. While this lets you fly from the hip with little worry about ruining a storyline you have yet to finish, if you're like me, it does mean your characters count how many times they run into the same NPC name because they're players and I'm bad with names. Either way, you need to try and have enough story to get you through the session. This can be hard or this can be easy depending on your group and the kind of events that you have waiting for them. I always, as long as I know which direction the party is headed, try to over-prepare. You never know when your party is going to get hooked and spend an extra few hours wanting to play. You intended. If you do run out, it's fine. Remember, you have the ability to ad-lib. You can talk to them about the game, anything they want to define with their characters, improv skills, throw up the random night at the inn with some common games of chance and drinking. So that's having the source material. Next, we're going to need maps. Yes, maps. Since these games have a lot of combat, usually, we tend to use a lot of maps, especially me. Now I have this pretty easy if I'm in person or if I'm running a game or one of my games online, because I run everything for the most part on virtual tabletops and my gaming table at the house when we're here. It lets me do all sorts of crazy lighting effects and interesting things, but that's not for everyone, or possible that it's an impromptu game and you can't do that. Virtual maps, I find, make the part of getting it out for the players and then revealing it really easy. But I've recently had to do the old-fashioned way of just a marker and drawing a map as we're going on pieces of paper. Now, I know there are some of you with a thing for markers, like my wife. Don't worry, I still have my old roll map, and I bring it out from time to time. Also, when you're running a dungeon, having the source material with descriptions for the room is handy, and as organized as possible, or organizing it as easy as possible, helps speed things up. I try either to have highlights in my books of the room descriptions or key parts in the module that I'm running, or in my 3D games, I will either have it marked in my notes with a highlight using Notion, which is what I use because I have a full system for it, or I will put the description of things directly on the map and then hide it from my players. Next, let's make sure we have the rules for whatever edition you're going to be running. Having the source material for what you're running and hopefully just the DMG are the most important things that you can have when you sit down. Players' guides and their class and stuff should be good, but we should have that. A lot of our material, especially me playing Pathfinder a lot, is all free online. So quick question to Google and I can get any rules that I need. Or like with my Notion system that I have a rules section and it's broken down. And so I can click on something and there's the rule set that I'm looking for. Next, you need to make sure that you have your players, well, their character sheets, hopefully squared away. I, once again, like to have or hold my players' character sheets virtually for this reason. I don't know how many times we had players in my youth that we were running 2nd or 3rd edition, and they forgot their character sheets, or they didn't bring them to school or college or wherever we were playing at the time. And they either don't play or they have to play it from the hip. This is a problem, I know, with scheduling conflicts and everything, but it's the bane of an adventuring party for people not to be prepared. I always like to have something so that I can reference them, and even if something happens, maybe they had an emergency and they couldn't get their character sheets or go by their house and get their material, that way I've always got it. Now, I have heard the DMs can spend 2 hours for every 4 they play, maybe even more. There are some people, especially when you're doing a homemade campaign like I do, that you might spend, especially with writing story and adding history, you might be spending as much time as they're going to be playing. And if you do some of the maps like I do, with intricate coding with tiles and things, then you might spend even more than they're going to spend on it. So really, there's no set time, as long as you have enough material. Playing on a virtual tabletop, I don't have to use virtual figures, but we usually use hand-painted minis. So these can take a lot of time. You can buy these, get them pre-done. We have 3D printers, so print out all of our own stuff. And then, of course, the children play with them when we're not looking, so they get broken. Dice, making sure you have the right amount of dice that you need, or any kind of rings setting up. It's good to have everything set up in your notes beforehand. If I can't set up the night before and read through the material, then a lot of times I clear my plate an hour before so that I can sit down, look at the material and everything to get caught up, to make sure I know where we are, where we're going, and what my players are going to do. So I have a game here in a handful of hours, and I will sit down and I will read through, and if nothing is marked the way it should already be marked in my book or on my notes, then I'm going to highlight it so that I can follow the module easier. And then after my game tonight, before I go to sleep, since I have a game as soon as I wake up tomorrow morning, I will sit down and I will go through the dungeon that they will probably mostly go through, the storyline, and any of the characters they're going to meet. You don't have to have everything prepared when it comes to what they're going to say. Just like to have an idea of kind of who they are and what they know, and then I can ad-lib. I can do whatever I need to do from that. And finally, don't get stressed out. I know. Especially know, because I used to, one of my players, last time they GM'd, they would constantly get stressed out whenever they would play. Deep breath. Know that as GMs, a lot of time we feel, we have to know everything. We have to be able to do the voices, do anything. No, just relax. At a table, your friends, they're new, going to play a game, and you're going to have fun. No reason to stress over it. So you don't have to beat yourself up. And if you don't have the material, if you weren't able to get it done for work or anything else for prep, then maybe it's short. Maybe you have to wait to finish that chapter of the journey until next time. Either way, it's okay. Just take a breath, select your screen, select your notebook paper, grab your favorite pencil, sit down, enjoy a world of your own creation. If you like this video, check out my others. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have any tips or requests, drop them in the comments below. And until next time, may your crits be epic, your adventures legendary, and your gaming table filled with laughter.